Alright guys, so we are back at the honey hole plot on top of the farm ridge, and I've been noticing the deer are in green a lot. The benefit of this spot is that I've got both a clover plot right out in front of me, as well as acorns all over the place around me. The wind is blowing, basically coming from my back and blowing over my right shoulder. I expect most of the deer to be coming from my left, over my left shoulder, feed out into this plot, and I should be able to get to them before they get my wind. So hopefully we can video some decent encounters for you. Got a few nice 10 points in here, and one kind of wonky looking 8-point with a few stickers. So bottom line is, if a mature deer comes in, mature buck comes in, he's hitting the ground. I don't care what happens, he's hitting the ground. So very excited about this set. Probably won't come back in here until the rut or pre-rut, but wanted to get this stand hung. I intended to be here. If you saw my last episode, I intended to set this stand, actually this tree, the first night I hunted, and unfortunately the tree stand that's in this tree below me is damaged from inclement weather, and so I was unable to get in it safely. So I literally climbed up the backside of the tree and put a hang on it right above the ladder stand. So it sets up nice. The tree's got actually 3 shoots coming off of it. One right there, the one that I'm sitting in, and then one right there where all my gear is. So pretty pumped. I've been getting a lot of pictures from a game camera right over here in one of these trees. I'm getting a lot of pictures from that. That's what I got. Most of those deer coming. Most of those deer, that direction is a big hollow, big ditch down, leads down to a creek. A lot of deer filter up out of that bottom, that cool bottom, and come up here of an evening to eat. So we'll see how it goes. Again, this setup is primarily just to get this stand hung for the rut, and maybe to get lucky. We'll see. So stay tuned, and I'll get back at you when we get something on the ground. Alright guys, so last set was kind of a bust. Saw one little doe. Really was anticipating seeing more deer, but it did get pretty hot. And I checked the camera that I had in that area while I was up there. I pulled it, and the last 4 or 5 days it really hasn't been much deer activity in that area, not compared to what there was the past few weeks. So sorry, I think I hear something. A lot of squirrels out this morning. We're back on the home property in the same stand where we killed the doe earlier this year, just last week actually. And I'm excited for this sit. We'll see how things go. The wind is blowing over my right shoulder into it's not a cut, into a cornfield. And already had one deer downwind that didn't do anything this morning. A little spike, 3-point something. So it's getting to be prime time here, so I'm gonna get off, and we'll catch back up with you when we get one on the ground. Thanks for watching. was pretty interesting. Just had a nice sized doe coming from downwind, and she smelled me. She smelled something. She didn't know what I was, but it was very interesting to watch her. She literally stopped on several points and just smelled my scent trail coming in. So I don't know if she just wasn't bothered by it, but yeah, she walked right underneath me. Unbelievable. I think I'm literally like, I'm gonna have to move this stand because of how close the deer are coming to it. Eventually I'm gonna get picked off, but so far so good. That's the second deer I've had come within spitting distance of the stand, so in a good spot, real good spot. Stay tuned. All right, guys and gals, this morning was a bust. What I mean by that is, well, I got busted. The elusive turkey, something that I, in 12 years of bow hunting, have not been able to put down with my bow, busted me at about 10 yards. Unfortunately, it came in over my left shoulder, and I'm left-handed, so that's the awkward way for me to draw my bow, so I couldn't get turned on them. But ended up seeing 4 deer, had 1 deer come right underneath the tree. I had to look over my knee to see her, so that spot is really a happening spot. All we need is a big buck to kind of come cruising through there looking for does or something. I think it's going to be a good rut spot. Right now, this time of year, deer do not lag for food. It's September the 27th, 28th, and they don't lag for food at all, so getting movement is difficult. We're hunting a cold front right now. Lows are in the 40s, high 30s, low 40s, and then highs are in the high 60s, low 70s. So we're back out here this afternoon in a new spot. One we have not hunted. Again, on the home property. We're just feeling our oats out here. You know, everything's subject to change. I have a mock scrape in front of me and to my left about 20 yards, maybe a little further. And when I put that mock scrape up, I did a very poor job of locating a stand, a tree to put my stand in. And so I'm sitting here in this big red oak that I have very little cover. The only saving grace is I got a lot of back cover. There's some cedars behind me, as you can kind of see. But I'm gonna have to be super still. I did hook up the GoPro. It is on the bow now, and I did spook 1 deer coming in. Oh, there's deer right there. There's deer right there. Down the hill about 90 yards. Skirting that edge. Man, I knew I should have set up down there. Always the places you don't sit. But I actually spooked a deer, I think, down in that area, so maybe that deer will filter her way up this direction. Or her or him, I couldn't tell what it was. It wasn't too big that I could tell, but I'm going to try to get some knocks on it. Well, I'll get back at you. Maybe give you another interview once I figure out what this deer's doing. Stay tuned, guys. Maybe we might get a kill on video tonight if everything cooperates. Alright, guys, so we're back. A nice looking doe down in the woods, probably about, I don't know, 100 yards away. But as I was saying, this new spot sets up quite nicely. There's CRP over to my left shoulder. There's a bean field in front of me to my right. And the wind is hitting me in the face right now. I'm blowing across over into that CRP. So, we'll see how things set up. I think I'm going to try to catch deer funneling out. There's a thicket in front of me. Just oak flat, just nasty thick. It's open timber, but it's got a brushy bottom to it. So, real good bedding. But there's a house in front of me. Probably about 200 yards in front of me is another property. And then behind me are these fields. And so I feel like I'm going to catch deer filtering out and funneling out in between that house and those fields, coming this direction to either the CRP or the beans. Now, I will say this, I'm not in the best setup for the beans. I probably should be a little bit more to my right in order to catch them going to the beans. Reason I chose this spot over the beans is because this time of year the beans don't seem to be getting hit as much. It's all green stuff and acorns, and I mean the ground here is really covered with acorns, so hickory nuts, acorns. So we'll see how things go. We'll catch up in just a little bit. Hopefully with a deer on the ground and maybe some footage to share. Thanks for watching, guys. Alright, guys, so we're back at it this evening. It's Friday evening. Back on a winter wheat plot that we first hunted on, very first hunt of the year. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and go back and watch that video. Ended up putting together a few hunts there, but it was supposed to be in the low 70s today, and got out here to the farm. It is not in the low 70s. It's probably about 80 degrees in the sun, 85 maybe. So really played it patient. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon right now, so didn't expect much movement before then. Really anticipate that these deer are going to come out into this field as the sun casts a shadow, or as the trees cast a shadow over it. That's what they've been doing. So, gotta strike while the iron's hot, you know what I mean? And this winter wheat right now is there. That's what they're eating. That's what they're on. Saw barely any movement back in the acorns. Hunted there 2 or 3 nights ago. And saw one little doe. And had somebody out here in the field scouting for me and just watching. And they saw 39. So, I was definitely in the wrong spot that evening. Nonetheless, we're back at it. The wind is blowing out over the field. Anticipating most of the deer are going to be coming behind me, filtering out into this winter wheat. So, hopefully we get something on the ground. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the GoPro is dead. So we won't be catching anything on film. We won't be catching a shot on film tonight. But we'll get that charged up and we'll get back out here with it one of these days. Always something. It's always something. I can't seem to ever get anything on film. But we'll give it a whirl. We'll go at it tonight. And we'll let you know. On the hit list, I got another doe tag in my pocket. And we got several bucks. We actually have one real nice 10-point. He's probably only 13, 14 inches wide, but he's real tall. And unfortunately, he got like an abscess or a tumor on his side that has gotten much bigger over the last 2 weeks. So wasn't there all summer at all. And then just we noticed in the pictures he was gone for about a week. Come back, got pictures of him, and had a small lump. And then just recently got some pictures of him last week. And the lump on his side is about as big as one of his hams is. So it's well, I don't know if it's a tumor, an abscess, what it is, but hopefully he makes it out of that. Because he's a real nice deer. One of only 2 or 3 that we have that I would consider shooting on this farm. So cross our fingers and hopefully we can get him down on the ground. But stay tuned and bring you an update when we know something more. Well, we're back at the cabin now. Light's a little grainy, but saw 25 deer, 26 deer, something like that. Man, they're in on that green right now. It's just hopping. Unfortunately, walking out, I spooked most of them out of the field. So hopefully they don't get boogered up too bad. Saw 4 decent bucks, all 8 points. It would have been hard to pass on one of them, but the rest of them were young up-and-comers. Interesting to see. They were all probably about the same age, varying body color, size, different genetics, things of that nature. So pretty cool evening in the deer woods. We'll get back at you next time we go out, probably tomorrow evening. We might be sitting in the same spot. We'll see how the deer do. So thanks for watching, guys.